And welcome, everybody. This is Tom, and I'm so glad to have you with us today. We are taking a look at a new release, Spring 24, issue 14 of the Columbus Scribbler, celebrating the comics, cartoons, and creators of Central Ohio. Now, I'm going to put this aside for just a quick moment to give you some personal backstory, and that is that in the world of small press and self-publishing, one of the biggest challenges we have is not necessarily in the creation of comics, but more in the promotion and marketing of comics. It is hard for the people who make mini comics to, on their tight budgets and often tight time frames, to be able to get their comics out to the general public, to make them aware, simply. And so marketing has always been an issue. And what I wanted to say was this was something that has been handled many times by a community-based newspaper. I learned about different comics. Let me share with you. Back in the 1980s, one of the great ones was the small press comics explosion. Tim Corrigan did this. It was initially a magazine. He switched to a tabloid newspaper type program. But SPCE went out and had all the news in it. This was a national newspaper. You can see all sorts of ads, reviews. There's some articles in some of the issues. So lots of good stuff in here. So this one was 1987. Another one I wanted to share with you, though, was another community-based newspaper, and that is out in Seattle. They had the Seattle Star. And this was, of course, free, just like the Scribbler. And you can see that they had comics and they promoted themselves, some ads and the like. Kind of neat. But anyway, Seattle had that back in the 1980s as well. I was just out in Seattle. I was really hoping to be able to find a copy of the Star, see if they had it going. I couldn't find one, but perhaps maybe I was just looking in the wrong spot. So anyway, Seattle had it back then. Three great guys here in Columbus have done it for the Columbus small press and self-publishing and cartooning community. And this is a fantastic magazine. The three guys behind it, Brian Canini, Steve Steiner, and Jack Wallace. And together, these guys have made a really sharp-looking zine, or I guess you call it a zine. It's a newspaper. It's just wonderful. They have comics, as you can see, some editorial work, 10 questions with Chris Sprouse. In this case, Chris being a professional cartoonist and artist, has worked with the likes of Alan Moore on Tom Strong, but also does a ton of work with Star Wars comics right now. So they've done 10 questions with him. You've got different cartoons from different people, some advertising, more cartoons. I mean, it's a great little newspaper. Howling Metal, a piece about Mobius by Brian Canini, who I share that love of Mobius. Some more cartooning, yet more cartooning. Meet the people of Columbus, using the cartoon format to tell about people here in Columbus. Cut and paste, look at the use of collage art in comics. So we're getting into some of the technical skill development. More cartooning, a kid's corner, a top 5 comics ever. And that happens to be yours truly. And I threw in my top 5. More cartoons, more ads. In memoriam, a couple comics icons who unfortunately passed away of late. And then they have their shout outs. They have their picks from the shelf. More cartooning, a little bit on the contributor side, and then wrapping up with some more cartoons. This is a neat publication. And the thing that I wanted to point out was that you don't have to be from Columbus, Ohio to enjoy this. And in fact, these guys even have a Patreon where, as I record this, I believe it's only like $1 a month, and they will ship you a copy of the Columbus Scribbler every time it comes out as part of your Patreon subscription. So I would strongly suggest getting in on that. $1 a month for something of this quality is just a wonderful deal. And I know they'll have copies of the Scribbler at Space as well. So hopefully you'll be able to find that. Thanks for doing this, guys. The Scribbler is a wonderful publication, and I'm really glad to share it with the world.